Oh, it changed like the layout. I do not like that. The generic PO2 thumb. Okay. All right. There we go. Let me get the bot up as well for. Like, do, 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 do. Oh, sign me on my stuff? That's weird. All right, 1 second, chat. I don't know if I can see anything right now, but give me a second. Okay, that worked. And then for this one, all right, does that work? Okay, I think those are good now. All right. So we're just gonna to start cooking. I don't know if it's probably hear anything right now, but we're just gonna get at it, as the kids say. So we have our stuff from last league, which was our witch hunter stuff, which honestly I need to put into like a folder. Let's move this stuff into there. New folder 0.4. I need to actually do this for the POE1 stuff as well. And we're just gonna go with new. The first thing we are gonna do though is, unfortunately, once again, we don't have the new stuff. So it's all gonna be loosely just based off of what is currently existing. But we're gonna make another witch hunter essentially. The goal is werewolf. Werewolf is melee. So the product damage doesn't help us. The attack speed might though. So I'll go like this instead of going here. Or if I want, I can always grab some flat and it's a percentage. How easy is it to give me attack speed down here? Honestly, that's pretty big nodes. So do I just go through here? The werewolf, you will eventually have allies, right? So having them give it more attack speed sounds pretty sweet. We're just gonna grab stuff for now and see how we feel about it afterwards. Yeah, like I want this. For some reason, I think the build of the league is going to be a Rage Bear, like Titan or Druid. Yeah, the Shaman looks really strong. I wish they would give us the final numbers on it because like they obviously had the leak from the media thing like a week ago, but like they've actively said that hey that's outdated. Things are definitely changing from there. But I still think Shaman's gonna be strong. But yeah, a Rage Bear seems pretty good. Palstron actually has a video out about that I believe, but I don't plan on playing it unless I think if I were to play it, I want to do something more spell on hit like with Smith the Katava. I want to see Oracle Tree and Druid Tree. Yeah, Oracle's where if I were playing a Druid, Oracle's what I want to do. I kind of want to play a Plant Druid, but that's even harder to cook right now because once again we are missing so many things on this side of the tree, including the Oracle specialized nodes. So it's hard to kind of like make a POV for that. But I kind of want to do like a plant based Oracle or whatnot. I think a Gardener would be really fun. But Oracle could be like obviously really nutty with oh right. I'm just gonna put strength on here. I don't need strength. Hypercaster attacks just seems hard to scale until they got some good nodes. Yeah, they could have like a bunch of nodes that give like plus melee damage plus like spell damage kind of thing, or plus attack damage plus spell damage, like hybrid nodes over here. We'll see if that's what it ends up being. Like this right here could be like cast speed and attack speed kind of thing instead of just attack speed as an example. So we'll see if they give any cool hybrid nodes over here. But I probably just want to play it as like a plant, a human caster. I'm going to change the stats later. I don't want strength on all these things, but I just want to grab my favorite nodes real quick. Maybe like spell damage also applies to melee attack damage personality, kind of like the wand nodes in this PoE1 and stuff. Yeah, that's fair. They have like you can use Crown of Eyes, obviously. If it increases to spell damage, increases in reduction spell damage also apply to attacks. So you can use Crown of Eyes to make it kind of work a little bit better as well. But it only increases, it's not like more. So like you have to go with increases too, not more spell damage kind of vibes. Caster Wyvern. Wyvern does look really cool. Like thematically, I want to be a cool ass dragon. um, but ZD's video wasn't really like awe inspiring for the Wyvern. So hoping that it looks a lot better. I didn't watch the second video yet. I know you released it today, but Wyvern could be potentially pretty sweet. When I want to go to Sorcery Ward and do like the new thing with a because it's a buff slash a nerf because like obviously you're losing a bunch of effect and a bunch of recharge or recover rather. Could also just not do this. Could go like this. Could also if I want to do like hybrid form stuff, I can go into more weapon master points. I want this either way. Wolfpack minions look fun, but only minions do if only minions do more damage in this video show because he was inspecting the minions and don't cost a lot. Yeah, I mean if I were to care about the minions a lot, I probably would go tactician and grab watch how I do it. Assuming that you can get like a good amount of damage on your talisman. That'd be pretty sweet. Add a little bit of attack damage to your wolves and stuff. Plus, you also get like this awesome node, which gives you a bunch of reservation efficiency, essentially. I think for this character, my initial thing is to start Witch Hunter, and then get to a point to where I switch. If I want to switch over to minions, I go to Tactician later. Also, depends on how many of the other skills you can get with like the wolf pack stuff, right? Because there's more than one skill that does it. This is the thing where they talk about how that is outdated. POE2 DB. We know about Wolfpack, obviously. Doesn't have any stats on it though, so we don't like know a lot of the stats of stuff. But there's mostly other skills too, right? That summon wolf companions. Like a predator's mark, right? That's what it was called, isn't it? There's some kind of mark that they talked about on the stream. Okay, this thing mentions predator's mark. Wolf companions that you have from Wolfpack or predator's mark. Yeah. So we don't know what predator's mark looks like. Obviously, Ziggy's video. Yeah. Slinky, what's up, Smug? How you doing, bud? Not even listed here, actually. It's weird. We're missing so much information, chat. It's so hard to cook with, but we're gonna do it anyway. But I think the goal originally is to not care about the minions as much, focus just on being a werewolf and doing cool damage. Oh, is that what the mark does? Makes sense for the minion thing then. So yeah, doing this could be pretty good then if the talismans can get pretty decent damage. Doing okay. Mostly just undecided on what I want to do. So I had the sheet's gone now. Actually, I forgot I closed that sheet off. Let me see if I can pull it back up. I can. So I had a couple different ideas here. Bear Slam, Smith Katava, Volcano, Plant Oracle, Permafrost Wolf, Tactician Werewolf, Chaos Chronomancer. I'm probably putting on the back burner. Tornado Wyvern could be potentially sweet. Cold Cast on Crit, Invoker Werewolf, and then Bleed Expo. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate the support. Olam Edema. Thank you so much. But yeah, so this is the basis of the one things I like. But werewolves, you're going to want melee. We're going to do obviously cold based stuff, so elemental things will work. So going into here, as we did, this is pretty much just taking the same shit we had on our previous build. Let's just open it up real quick to show. So last league we played also a witch hunter who turned into whatchamacallit. Actually, I didn't update this thing apparently. Is this it? So this is what we ended up with for Witch Hunter last league, and eventually we went to I don't have the thing for it, but we went to a tri-elemental tactician version. But grabbing these nodes are really good. Tornado Werewolf, like my old D2 build. So that was I always tell people constantly, oh, you know, Smug, I always tell people constantly, Wind Druid is like my favorite builds of all time. So yeah, so this is still pretty strong. We can go deflection rate if we need to. I think the tree's still mostly fine. Obviously, you don't take the grenade stuff. More deflection stuff. More ailment stuff. This is good. Especially if we go in the tri-elemental. Or you get like damages extra. Actually, we did the same thing too. Interesting. Like, so I was like, I need more defenses at this point, and I need it less of the damage thing. What are you playing the Tornado Werewolf on though? Are you playing on like an Oracle or a Shaman? Yeah, I'm really excited for those. Like this right here, the overgrown, and you get the overgrown effect. Wait, not that one. Where's it at? Briar Patch is pretty cool, but it's only for attack stuff. We have, what is it called? Accelerated Growth is a really cool spirit gem, I believe, or a sport gem rather. Trigger explosion after they've been plant overgrown. That could be pretty cool to build with as well. Yeah, thunderstorm is actual storm. Yeah, to make them wet. Gotta make them wet, chat. Yo, what's up, Mick? How you doing, bud? Depends. Haven't seen anything yet. I want it to be a surprise. Wait, what did I just come into? Me saying gotta make them wet? That's what you just came into. Cause you gotta do it. Hopefully, give us more information. Obviously, probably after my stream today, but hopefully, there's more information at the end of today to kind of know more finalized numbers on some stuff. What the fuck? My YouTube crashed. Rip. This also doesn't show a limit. Oh, it now does though. It didn't show a limit yesterday. Where's Marshall at? This is totally different from what was shown yesterday when I looked at this. Here's the one from yesterday. Let's take a picture of it and put it on my Discord. It also shows a 1 through 20 gem. What the fuck? Ziggy's new video has some good info. You know what? Do we want to watch Ziggy's new video? I actually haven't watched it yet. It is 40 minutes long though. I'm gonna adjust to where y'all can hear stuff. Don't yell at me. Don't yell at me. All right, we'll watch a little bit of this video and we'll pause and talk about stuff every once in a while. This looks so fuzzy.
G'day folks, Ziggy D here, back with part 2 of my Druid hands-on preview. Thanks again to GGG for flying me over to the studio, and keep in mind that this footage is a week old and non-final. Things can and have changed. If you didn't see the previous video part 1, then check that out for context as this video builds upon that one. Now just a note on my overall power level, as that was a topic of discussion a fair bit in the first video. To help you gauge kind of where I'm at, it's a little bit tricky because baseline, I think my gear overall was pretty solid, quite good in Act 1, and then pretty reasonable to good for what I think will be the case with the Vile Temples that everyone's going to have access to, in addition to Abyss Crafting and the other various improvements that have been made there. Like, I think our gear is looking pretty good, but I didn't have anything super crazy in Act 2 and 3. But I was able to fix bad slots when needed for the most part. The biggest gap was spellcaster weapons affecting spell power level, so they were all a little bit more underpowered than they probably should be to look at. Also, due to skipping through some of the larger zones and missing a side quest or two, I ended up a bit underleveled and underpassived. And because I'm trying to test as many different setups as possible, my gem levels and supports are all a little bit bad for a long time. I'm quite a few levels behind on some skills and don't have supports kind of filled out for nearly everything. So probably a bit better than average gear, but a bit worse than average passives and gems. Anyway, make of that what you will. As I move into Act 2, I get a chance to cut my first level 5 gem, and this tier gives access to some pretty key skills for a few of the druids.
I just want to read this. Also, y'all can hear it, right? I didn't confirm it with anybody. So I wonder if this is okay. This is maybe his video is why we got updated stuff today, because this is obviously what we just saw a little bit ago. When active portion of the physical attack damage you deal. I wish it was not. I wish it was just damage, or like physical damage and not just attack damage, because then like you could use Briar Patch with other like plant-based spells.
You've got Thunderstorm with synergies for plant, lightning, and cold damage builds. More on those later. Devour for much easier charge generation on the one.
Wait, I missed it. Go back. You hovered over Overgrown for a second. What did it say?
Pretty key piece for
I didn't
those
zoom really
builds.
far enough, did I?
And for much easier charge.
Oh, I hate myself. There we go. Plant skills that are overgrown can gain powerful ways to detail the plant skill. This generally cannot be caused by a skill that creates the plants and require a different skill or effect, especially in the overgrown. Okay.
For much easier charge generation on the Wyvern, pretty key piece for those builds. And Arctic Howl for freeze werewolves. And then Fury of the Mountain for the bear form, which is what I take first. And this one is excellent. This is a slam skill that creates fissures. You can have up to 12 of them out at a time, and it generates rage on hit. This skill immediately replaced Maul as the basic attack for bear for me, since it does the same role of rage generation, and Fury of the Mountain does a whole lot more in addition to that too.
Let's see this transition into a werewolf is pretty good.
As a Fisher skill, Shockwave Totem can trigger bonus pulses, so that's a lot of extra damage for you. And there's even better news here. The pulses can also generate rage on each hit.
So that right there was a good show. The fact that it was just generic damage instead of being like attack damage or spell damage. That small note you hit was just generic damage. So that kind of goes into the whole hybrid thing we were talking about a little bit ago.
In addition to that initial slam. So the totem fissures just keep pulsing and they keep your rage topped up while you spend it slamming away. It's really nutty. So crazy, in fact, that I thought it probably wasn't intended and was a bug. So I asked the developers and they're like, oh, we'll take a look at that. But then I asked Mark in the Q&A, he said, you know, it actually should work that way because that's fun and cool. And true to their word, I double checked and that seems to be the plan. So it's a really sick rage generator skill there. That passive ongoing rage generation is super nice for bear form, routing that out a lot. And on top of that, for Fury of the Mountain, since it's a slam skill, each of the initial hits can trigger volcano projectiles, so you can toss down your volcano projectiles and slam those out. As a bit of a side note, that's kind of related to this, in the updated patch notes, they just posted that the rage decay rate was halved and the time before it begins increased from 2 to 4 seconds. So it's now much easier to keep rage up between packs as well. So all around rage and bear form is looking really comfy to play. There's so many lines of combo interactions going on here with like the bear form kind of approach. You've got Volcano being triggered by Fury of the Mountain and Furious Slam. Then you've got Shockwave Totems triggering the fissures from Fury of the Mountain and the jagged ground that you create with empowered Furious Slams.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And it's all fueled by the continuous rage generation going on from the totems triggering the fissures on enemies, powering those Furious Slams. So it's kind of looping. There's a lot of feedback loops of damage going on here. Makes for a pretty satisfying bossing. And it's actually like pretty straightforward to play as well. You don't really have to think about all of.
He's also like spending and regenerating mana. Like his mana is like topped off pretty much the entire time when he's doing all this stuff, which is really nice.
Those like complex lines of play, you just kind of do all the things on top of.
Obviously, that gets worse as you like progress and like level up stuff and everything like that. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
Each other, it works great. So I didn't actually play this setup for too long because I was a bit unsure if Fury of the Mountain was working as intended. So I don't think I did it full justice gameplay wise. But basically, you can drop a volcano or two with the extra charge and a totem, then Fury of the Mountain, a couple fissures out, pounce in via wolf form, and then Furious Slam repeatedly until everything is dead or you repeat that cycle. At higher levels, I think you'll be able to work in Ferocious Roar with Infernal Cry. It should be a great addition for some extra fire damage, and Rampage could also be lots of fun to use instead of or before the slams maybe to trigger the fissures as you run around. Anyway, I'm sure many of you at this point are sold on Bear. I know I am. So let's take a look at some of the other things.
Werewolf let out a icy howl that damages enemies and freezes primed enemies. If the enemy is frozen or a frozen enemy is hit, the skill empowers your attacks with added cold damage and chill ground, granting your allies added cold damage. This skill's cooldown is bypassed by expending an endurance charge. Interesting. Helps with the werewolf companions. Or sorry, the wolf companions. And obviously your own damage. Cooldown's 8 seconds unless you have endurance charge generation, which I guess synergizes with you going between bear and werewolf form more. Ooh. Yeah, looks like they want multi-summon forms, yeah. The bad part is, or the unlucky part is that this is a war cry, but it can't use the meta gem for that the bear has, right? Or is that meta gem not bear specific? The one that the ferocious roar or whatever.
Arctic Howl is a Cold War Cry-like skill for werewolf form that deals some cold damage in an area and knocks them back. Mainly though, this one insta-freezes any enemies that are primed for freeze, which is, I believe, anything over 70% freeze build-up on bosses and lower for other enemies. Upon freezing enemies or hitting an already frozen enemy, Arctic Cry gives your allies bonus cold damage and chilled ground generation, and it empowers some of your own attacks with added cold damage. So the fact that it works on already frozen enemies is really key to it not being awkward to use. I mean, it's great when it lets you freeze enemies earlier, especially bosses, but in most...
Don't mind having to use multiple skills if it feels rewarding. Yeah, a big pain point for people who especially play POE1 and are going into like POE2 and stuff like that is a lot of people complain about weapon swaps or like not having one button builds and needing to combo stuff. Uh, I like one button builds and stuff like that in POE1. I don't mind that POE2 is trying to take a different approach to it. Like even last league, it wasn't necessarily a combo, but like I mean, it kind of is, I guess. But I was playing Permafrost Bolt, Witch Hunter with fragmentation as the finisher kind of thing, and it felt great. I had a really good time with it. Being able to mostly clear with your Permafrost Bolt, and then on the big tough ones, just hitting with fragmentation rounds and like blow it up with a shit ton of damage was really cool. So I don't mind that they want people to play like combo play style stuff. Like as long as it feels rewarding and it's not clunky. Like weapon swapping originally was pretty clunky, right? When they first launched, and they've made it to where it's more seamless now, as you can see with the transitions between the different forms. As long as it's not clunky and it feels satisfying to play, I'm down to do it.
most cases, regular enemies are just frozen from one lunar assault anyway, right? You're doing so much damage proportional to the health, and we have so much freeze build-up scaling that everything's frozen and you don't really get it. You'd kind of miss your opportunity if it was like that. So there's like a support element to this skill that'll be pretty interesting for party play, or of course minion builds like Wolfpack builds. But I should note that in the version of the game that I was playing at this point, the Wolf Minion parts of the Druid were still being finalized, so it's not something I could really gauge. An issue of this particular Lunar Assault and Shred style with Arctic Howler that I noticed is that any empowers often end up just getting used by a quick shred attack, which is pretty low impact for an empower. Empower typically makes more sense for big, heavy hits like slams, where the limited nature of those empowerments fits better, right? And that's somewhat at odds with the Wolf, which is pretty fast and lots of really fast little hits. It's possible that it can be used to empower maybe like a pure Lunar Assault setup more for clearing, I imagine, with Herald of Ice at endgame. So I'm sure we'll figure out a place for it. I'm also wondering if it like has potential as a piece in some sort of mixed melee builds, like, I don't know, Wolf Monks or something. Despite Empower not adding much for my playstyle, I still ended up using this skill as a way to freeze bosses early, and I also linked it to Ice Bite as a way to generate the Ice Bite damage buff. So that was nice, but definitely lower impact than some of the other skills that we got for the Wolf form. Early in Act 2, I had my next entrance to the Val Temple, and things started getting more interesting with more options for rooms and actual room upgrading occurring. For example, linking the workshop to the bronze workers, which I was able to place to create 4 tier 2 rooms. I think ways to upgrade guardhouses are also possible at this level, as I recall seeing those a little bit later on. So this is still very simple, early intro tutorial level sort of stuff here, before you unlock the time travel version of the temple later on. But with further improved crafting and loot rooms now at this point, so it's a bit more impactful on your gear upgrading. The special rare monsters in some of the rooms were pretty spicy as well, but the Icicle Shred Wolf action seemed to be getting more and more effective as I progressed.
A little busy today, so I might not chat too much, but I'm definitely gonna watch the video later. Yeah, no problem. I appreciate you showing up to keep your streak going, buddy. Thank you for hanging out.
And I didn't have too many difficulties.
I need more time for that.
So it looks like whenever he does the howl thing that gives the added cold damage and stuff, it looks like it's lasting for 5 seconds as a base duration, and it's cooldown 6 seconds, so you can almost have 100% uptime on it on like tougher people. With a little bit of duration, I think you can go a little bit further even. So like you can have 100% uptime on it, obviously. That'd be kind of cool. Werewolf looks cool. Werewolf does look cool. I'm excited for Werewolf a lot.
And indeed, after my little temple foray to upgrade my gear, I peaced out and went right into the Rudia fight, where we get to see the power of freeze scaling this setup has access to here. I think she got to do like one flamethrower attack in between long freezes, which are starting to get scaled by some freeze duration buffs at this point from the tree and supports. She didn't even get a chance to do her final melee form. Ooh. So after that, I got to try out Thunderstorm. This is a spell that has a lot of different applications. It strikes an area with lightning bolts over a long duration, so it's just another sustained damage thing you can throw in. But it's a combo piece for quite a few setups because the Rainstorm, like, also creates, well, rain. It moistens things. The rain
moistens chat
enemies. I feel like this is a meme skill at this point, so POE. Making them have, it makes them have substantial buffs to the chance to be shocked and their freeze build up on the enemies that are drenched. That rain also waters your plants. So silly. We'll take a look at that one later, but for now it's pretty effective as a booster akin to, say, Volcano for Ice Wolf. You just throw it down for some extra damage. I used the extra charge to be able to get 2 of them out from the support. Overabundance, and that was a noticeable amount of extra sustained damage. And then on top of that, it would moisten the enemies, making them even easier to freeze. Not that I really needed that at this point. Pretty nice on bosses and rares, and it gave me a bit of boosted kind of area denial management since I didn't get to try Herald of Ice in my testing with this playstyle, so I was lacking a little bit of that AoE clear, which this helped to make up for. It was pretty satisfying.
The little entangle plants look like they attack very, very fast. You can see them like they're doing very small amounts of damage, but they're hitting very fast.
It was pretty satisfying.
That's kind of cool.
The Jin in a corner. She's usually quite the pest, this boss, teleporting around and everything. And the ice shards stack and explode right under her when they get against a wall like this as well. You can get that nice shotgunning going on. It's pretty awesome, even though I actually kind of screwed up the combo by backing off when she was frozen to do some other spells. I should have kept just shredding away. Anywho, I grabbed Devour next and just give it a brief test.
Devour is one of the reasons I think that the war art is really cool. Just like biting into your enemies is so fucking sweet.
This skill allows you to leap onto a colorable enemy or corpses and eat their bloody faces. Eating faces gives you a flat region.
Wait, it says colorable enemy? So scaling all the culling stuff on the tree next to like mercenary would be pretty sweet. You can just like start devouring people like normal mobs at like 70% health. Scale even further, you can go even better.
Gen buff to heal up and generates power charges for you as well. This skill represents a pretty big turnaround for the power charge issue for Lightning Wyvern. It makes it really easy to sustain empowered lightning form while clearing. It's not like killing Palm on Monk, I think, since the fact that you can use it on corpses means that you can basically use it when you want. You're not trying to like time that very narrow window of trying to get some cullable enemy to cull. I was surprised by how good Devourer felt overall to use. I think skills like this are normally very clunky, but they've made this like as forgiving and as strong as they dared to, I suspect. The issue is, of course, that in boss fights, you just don't have anything to cull unless they have some ads or corpses nearby. It seems that most boss fights don't really have a plentiful supply of that in POE2 currently, so you do have that issue of not having access to Devourer during the entirety of boss fights, meaning you still rely on that kind of like stun build-up Wing Blast, and that makes Power Charged Lightning Wyvern a bit of a tough nut to crack for bossing at this point in the campaign still. Like maybe there exists some nice solutions with supports and things later on, but it only really works well for clearing at this point. Of course, Magma, Orb, and Volcano combo exist as a fairly potent fallback for many bosses, as long as they're not like too small and mobile. And Thunderstorm, as an extra addition, now gives you a shock boost and some extra sustained damage that you can weave in.
And leave you to the sand!
I mean, you don't have to use just druid skills now. Yeah, I mean, so as long as it depends if you're okay with going like human forms like that, you can technically use any skills you want, I assume, but you pop off into human form. Any one button builds? We're watching the ZiggyD thing first, and then we're going back to cooking beyond. So far, nothing. Like a corpse? Yeah. You could, yeah. Is there like a desecrate or unearth skill in POE2?
I shall dethrone you!
You could do the, you know what you could do? You could do the thing where you summon the skeletons and use your skeletons as corpses, like people used to do with the old Detonate Dead and like the 0.1 patch. I did that for a little bit. You just have a bunch of little corpses walking around that you could just eat whenever you need them, you know? I like the YouTube integration for Twitch. I'm glad you enjoy it, bud. It's really nice that the two sides can kind of communicate with each other.
Sekama, and leave you to the sand!
So sending in Sekimas was up next, and I think any of the strategies can work here. Even Wyvern, so duration, spell spam, you just go slow and safe, that should work just fine. Bear form with Fury of the Mountain Fishes and Totems for just like really easy ranged melee should be super safe. And then even Wyvern with Volcanoes.
Does YouTube have it as well? Yeah. Anything you say is being pushed over into YouTube. Anything YouTube says is being pushed over to Twitch. So they talk back and forth. They can see what you're saying. You can see what they're saying, so on and so forth. So you can technically say hello, hello, or hello, Smug, who is technically James, I guess.
Storm and Magma at range should just be like a nice, easy range spellcaster approach if you want to go that route. I end up going for possibly the hardest wolf form, as it's kind of proper melee. But that said, it's decently powerful and it goes just kind of fine with a bit of hit and run and taking advantage of freeze. But I have practiced a lot of Sekima's runs, so that does help. I suggest maybe going for one of the other routes or just getting a little bit overpowered and doing some hit and run freeze action if you're going wolf form in Sekima's.
Look out for this land!
I need more time for that! So much heft, and still you fall like the rest.
Can you not switch to Wyvern form there and call the boss with Devour? Or can you not call the bosses with Devour? Does Devour say, like, non-uniques? It might say that.
So, as for ascending, Oracle felt like a bit of a rabbit hole that I didn't want to dive into in my somewhat limited time, so I ended up going for the a bit more straightforward and fun-looking Shaman. Interestingly, the node that I
I want him to hover over this node. No one knows what this node was.
actually took got changed as I was playing, so that's what happens when you're playing on the live dev version
Alright, so his Tuning of Storms is what it is.
of the game in the end.
What do you pick? You have exposure and you get damages extra element is what it looks like it says. What are you testing? Doesn't work for YouTube chat.
No point showing you the earlier version, but the newer version gave enemies in my presence exposure and 10% extra damage.
Oh, YouTube has its own little emotes. Got it. You try to do it. Got it. I see what you're trying to do. Got it. Okay.
Damage as random element, which is fun and fits with the node that I get later on too. Funnily, it took me way too long to figure out how I was giving enemies exposure because this just happened in the background. It was a different node when I picked it, right? It didn't have that mechanic at all. I was very confused until I eventually just randomly looked at my sentency and was like, huh, that looks different. So, with some bonus elemental damage online, I head back into Act 2 with my beloved wolf form to test out the new cross slash skill that I picked up at some point. This executes a short hopback with a massive X-shaped slash.
That skill looks cool
It's
as
a
shit,
pretty
by the way.
important skill for many wolf builds for two main reasons. It triggers any marks on the target, which in the case of Predator's Mark from Pounce means that you can summon wolves on demand. I imagine that also means that you can explode.
Wait, Predator's Mark is on Pounce? Is that why I couldn't find Predator's Mark earlier? Why no one tell me that? Huh? So it's not its own skill. So it's a mark on hit ability and a moon ability? Pounce is OP. Pounce is OP. And you can put another mark thing there if you want to. If you want to mark a different skill. That's pretty sweet. It's literally a mark on hit ability. Makes you a werewolf. Interesting. Okay. Sorry for the interruption again.
Freezing or voltaic marks with it too, if you want to get some extra damage from that. And on top of that, when triggering marks this way, cross slash causes an extra shockwave of damage too. And then for the ice werewolf builds, cross slash is very powerful, as it scoops up any of those ice fragments in the area and dumps them all in the middle of that X. That means that you go from sometimes hitting bosses or rares with half or so
Ooh,
of the
shotgun
icicles
effect.
to being able to hit them with every single icicle every time if you time it right. That's a big burst damage boost to the build. So this unlocks like a new play strategy now. It looks a little something like,
Dude, I'm definitely making the werewolf witch hunter build.
Assault and maybe an Arctic Howl to freeze them. Then go for a full shred combo and cross slash to dump all of the icicles from that shred combo on them, and then start shredding again while those explode until the enemies unfreeze. Then when it's unfrozen or you finish your next combo, hit another cross slash for good measure to just scoop up all the rest of those little icicle shards. With a bit of attack speed scaling, it seems like you definitely get time for like 2 full shred combos during the course of a lot of freezes.
Van Helsing? Yeah, exactly.
Freeze duration as well.
Yeah, in POE2, I like to be a lot more thematic with like the builds. Like the first time I want to be, made a witch hunter, I wanted to be specifically like a boss killer, because Van Helsing-ish kind of a vibe. The fact that you can be like a werewolf also as a witch hunter fits into that whole similar theme. Pretty excited for it. Depending on where you start on the tree, you get resonance. Resonance is the one that's down here. No. Oh, because you can because the mark or whatever gives you frenzy charges, so you can get power charges instead of frenzy charges. Yeah, the Oracle thing I'm excited for, but I need to know what what's on the tree. I think this is a safe pick of going this for me. This is why I want to make the Witch Hunter werewolf build. It's a safe pick if I look at the Druid's Oracle stuff and I'm like, oh right. This right here, like I said, there's too much unknown right here. So making the Witch Hunter is my safe pick, my fallback plan. If when we get this information, I can't have enough time to cook up something fast enough. So that's the big thing is like Oracle sounds like it could be cool and a lot of potential for like homebrewing some stuff with the new nodes, but we don't know what the nodes are, so it's hard to do anything with it right now. And I can't really homebrew on launch day because I'll be playing the game. Obviously, you homebrew while you go, but a lot of people don't want to watch that, right? So, all right, back to the video.
I'm not ready yet. Your leash is snapped. Let's finish this. I'm not ready yet.
The hopback part of the cross slash could have felt annoying. There's been cases where this has been, the case for other skills, especially when trying to do like single target damage. You don't really want to be like going away from the enemy trying to damage. But in this case, didn't feel like an issue thanks to Shred having that built-in mini leap to the target on the first attack. That made it feel really smooth and satisfying, and only like kind of added to that already crazy mobility feeling of the werewolf form. You're leaping in and out really smoothly. They really, I think, captured the frenzied feeling of what I want from a werewolf. Something about the way, like, you pounce it.
All right, the important part. When do I get a cat MTX for the werewolf form? Meowdy chat?
And then tear away with your hands is very satisfying. It often makes it feel like, oh man, I'm just, like, dismantling these bosses. I'm pulling them apart limb by limb. It's good. It plays into the fantasy. Even though, like, I wasn't initially on board with the ice form of this. Like, I feel like I'm surprised it wasn't kind of like a more physical blood-oriented setup. But I guess they have a more of an overall elemental theme for the druid. And the ice wolf is, yeah, is a bit more unique, I suppose. I'm on board at this point. So in Keth, I found a support gem and put AoE on.
What was that node? Did you hover it enough for us to see what it was?
Oriented setup, but I guess they have a more of an overall elemental theme for the druid, and the ice wolf is, yeah, is a bit more unique, I suppose. I'm on board.
Pet form and bird form, obviously.
So in
attack damage and a mobilization buildup. Good for freeze. I assume this opposite side right here is the spell damage version. So they split. So instead of being hybrid, they split it into 2. I assume. Because it looks very similar in shape and amount of passive points. I assume this is like spell damage and mobilization build up or something like that. Okay.
Keth, I found a support gem and put AoE on cross slash, which is probably
Damage with hits against hindered enemies. Hinder with spells.
unnecessary, but it was satisfying. Let's make that thing even bigger. It's already like huge. I could see some nice screen-sized X marks the spots on bosses, being pretty funny. And I had a pretty interesting encounter here too. So the first unique boss that I saw on a Vile Sacrifice platform kind of caught me off guard a little bit. Unfortunately for them, I instantly froze them and was about to finish them off before they even had a chance to do anything. But I decided to hold back and just give them a chance. I wanted to see what the boss did. Shortly after that, in this fun tomb encounter, I was really sad that I didn't choose Herald of Ice earlier. Because, oh man, that's going to be so satisfying there. Well, it launches soon. I can try that again, perhaps.
Herald of Ice is going to feel amazing with this.
And finally for Keth, finding new and fun ways to torment the sad fire baby boss is a personal hobby of mine. I don't know if you've heard of this genre of activity, but I'm pleased to report that Wolfform has a pretty fresh take in this regard. When he finally summoned the will to bring up his health bar, only to get frozen and then killed. Aww. So as we head into the Titan Valley, you get to see some of the now core Abyss mechanic having a presence in the campaign. And I did actually get quite a few crafting items from Abyss during Acts 2 and 3, which does surprise me because Val Temple is giving out a ton of crafting power, and it feels like we didn't really even lose Abyss in this regard. I expected that Abyss would just be like non-existent till endgame, but it's there and you actually get to use it. I used it a few times. I was maybe getting a bit overconfident at this point because I suffered a classic for me giant skelly squish death. I swear it's like one of my most common deaths in POE2 is just getting these guys falling on me. The Titan Grotto boss points out a minor nuisance in freeze builds like this. Some larger bosses in POE2 have a mechanic where they cannot be frozen or like stopped during certain attack sequences or time frames. That can mean that you basically don't get to freeze them if you're killing them fast enough, which is kind of a bummer. I get that there's a few reasons to have a mechanic like this, but I think that maybe you could use some fine tuning, or maybe like a change like allowing the freeze to function, but the enemy's still able to move while frozen if they're like a giant Titan enemy like this. They just, you know, get slowed. I think designs like that are great because then you don't get locked out of your actual build's mechanics. You can still have your like on freeze mechanic of like firing icicles at the boss. Anyway, it's not like the fight was difficult or anything. It's just kind of like a bummer that he spends, you know, a full minute on 99% freeze.
I'm actually pretty excited for the temple building thing.
I ended up getting another Val Temple in the latter half of Act 2 with more
Ooh,
room
leech
upgrading and plenty of crafting benches to socket quality and add mods to my gear. And this nicely combines with the Abyss crafts that I had access to now as well to round out some key gear pieces, you know, upgrading a chest or fixing up a weapon, for example. I actually managed to get the next Spirit Gem tier here, and I was definitely tempted to take Herald of Ice, but I wanted to check out some of the new stuff. There's two new options here. So Wolfpack, it does exactly what you think. It summons a Wolfpack. Apparently you can also get a crazy number of wolves with this plus Pounce at endgame. I want to say like specific numbers that the devs are...
Oh, the wolves, like you can get more. I thought it was like a maximum number. You can use both and get like just a shit ton of wolves. Honestly, the Tactician Wolfpack thing might be pretty sweet. Honestly.
To me because I can't remember what the actual number was, but it was higher than I expected based on the numbers that you see here, which I think like I can have 4 and 5 right now, so 9.
Wolfpack is now max 3. Oh, you're just like making jokes, got it.
But I guess if you think you can have 9 now,
you'd be a true leader, yeah. We're gonna the whole meme of welcome to the Wolfpack chat. Oh, it's gonna become real for the season. We're gonna be a werewolf and just have a bunch of Wolfpack little wolves running around.
and then assume what you could have by endgame. Well, yeah, you can maybe get the idea. Anyway, I don't know
Thank you,
the
Marshall.
potential of the minion druid side of things. They're trying to put every single build in druid, so I'm sure some of them will probably not be fully well-rounded, but I don't know, maybe there's some Wolfpack potential there. Anyway, I opted for the other choice, the defensive spirit skill bark skin. This grants you a flat armor bonus for a duration based on damage taken.
Yeah, exactly. If we can get damage house and stuff to like number pretty big, that would be huge.
And armor plus duration scaling, for example, I think you can probably stack some pretty substantial armor from this. I'm actually kind of shocked that it doesn't have like a hard limit. I'm used to skills like this having or needing hard limits because inevitably some player gets infinite armor from it or something. But I guess in this case, since it's duration based and it requires enemy hits, like I don't think you could self-hit yourself with this or anything. It's probably, that makes it a bit more reasonable. Anyway, I really like this skill. It's actually kind of messed around with a little bit for building my character, even though I was just in the campaign, I didn't really need it. I took the Zealot's Oath keystone to convert life regeneration to energy shield regen when my life was full, and that keeps it present in combat much better than recharge. And that enables Barkskin to do a whole lot more, I think.
Bring
it's not
back
really like a
RF.
flashy skill, but I don't know. I really like this one. It seems fun to build around hybrid life ES, regen, and stacking defensive buffs that like spike the more danger in. I like that style mechanic. It's neat. And with Druid having like a lot of access to elemental damage taken to armor, I can anticipate, you know, this having a bit more of an impact as well. Anyway, alongside Cross Slash, Ferocious Roar, and Spell Totem are the other level 7 gems. Spell Totem lets you link a spell to be kind of autocast by the totem, but in POE2 it costs 3 charges. That sounds kind of annoying, but at least for bear form it's super easy to have 3 endurance charges passively and quickly even by just spending rage. So it's probably pretty easy to use it there for some like decent utility spell options, but it's not something I've really given any thought at this point. It seems supplemental for sure. Ferocious Roar looks pretty good. It's a bear form Warcry skill that lets you gain more rage and break some armor in its default form, but the real use case is probably that you can link normal human Warcries like Infernal Cry into it to trigger those instead. That lets you use Infernal Cry in bear form, whereas otherwise you'd swap to.
I said I already had one, by the way. Yeah. It's a cat. But it's a Christmas cat. On the original thing, though, there's the one you linked on my original one. My set. Beyond
Human form to do it, and that will, you know, pair nicely with the Fire Fisher Volcano playstyles. For whatever reason, I can't really recall, I didn't end up getting a chance to test either of these, probably because they need like other skills to make much use of them, or I forgot one of those. Anyway, end of Act 2 is often a huge difficulty spike for many builds, and weirdly I was getting a little bit under-leveled through Act 2 and 3, and also feeling like the cost of my erratic gem cutting choices as I try to test anything and everything. So, despite that, I managed pretty fine, with the sustain spells helping in those sketchier choke points, and Freeze taking care of everything else.
We love Freeze!
And then with Jamin Ra himself, I was actually pretty dang impressed. I managed 3 freezes in second form, and while my damage had fallen off a bit at this point, it was pretty damn smooth fight. He didn't give me much grief.
Should be fine. I mean, they are adjusting the amount of experience and stuff like that you get from the mobs to compensate for the lack of density. We'll see if the adjustment's proper or not, but they're planning to adjust based on the lack of density, so leveling should be okay.
Heading into Act 3, I spent a bit more time on Wolf form. I can't help myself, it's so much fun. It's fast to run through zones. First though, something pretty unexpected awaited me on the Vile Sacrifice altar.
Oh shit. Quadrilla Sergeant.
What the heck, GGG? That's pretty cheeky, putting another Death Monkey in this act just here randomly. Anyway, it's time for that build change up. Apologies in advance, but I do not get time to return to bear form. But you know it's good, right? I think you've seen enough to say that. I do have something else for you, though. The moment that some of you have been desperately waiting for. It's officially time to water my plants. Now we're path of exiling. Gem level 9 gives
Thrashing Vines? Hell yeah.
Vines. It's a plant spell that summons large vines that slap the ground and enemies too. With that, plus Entangle and the Thunderstorm spell, we have everything we need to water our plants. The accelerated growth support seems pretty key here. That's a good one to incorporate into this. It lets you trigger exploding flowers whenever you overgrow your plants.
Thank you for following
So
Juntp89. Appreciate the support.
Each plant spell here has a mechanic where it will overgrow in some way if watered by thunderstorms. I can't get over how
look at
true it is anyway. For
that looks so
Entangle,
cool.
It makes the fishes last longer. And for Thrashing Vines, it makes them 50% larger and do 50% more damage. So really chunky for that. But Entangle's not really doing much. Just making them last longer is not really a big deal by itself. It's not something you would do if you weren't just kind of doing it for other reasons anyway. But that accelerated growth gem adds explosions. So that makes it absolutely worth it. I'm pretty sure you can
Now you
also
become a
do the
Gardener?
same
What the
thing
fuck?
with
Yeah, Gardener
Patch
build is
too,
one of the builds
though
I'm
not sure
interested in
I ended up
making.
testing that. So yeah, I see some accelerated growth on Briar Patch and on Entangle. And then you're scaling up the Thrashing Vines in other ways, most likely. So this is a duration sustained damage
Wait, I saw a power charge there. What was that?
vines in other ways, most likely. So this is a
Initially, if you consume a power charge, okay. I think you need the support that makes them follow you for the build to feel good. It might be alright. I mean, you can cover your screen in mostly plants and just water it.
duration sustained damage spellcaster style, and
Also, this is just pure fizz damage and not like attack or spell. So goes into, once again, the whole hybrid thing where just good fizz damage. That's all that matters.
there's plenty of nodes for that in the Druids area.
Hey, and a 20% chance to immediately overgrow. That's pretty big.
Damage spellcaster style, and there's plenty of nodes for that in the Druids area.
Reduce skill effect duration. Someone tell Fishy!
Area, including an actual plant cluster that has a chance for plants to overgrow immediately, even without thunderstorm raining on them. So that, with the support from earlier, means you get some exploding flowers when that happens too, so that's a nice little boost. It's mostly physical damage here with the plants, so you could likely walk in the later tornado spell that's physical as well. And maybe you can even go poison. I know there's plenty of gems pitched in that direction because of the existence of like the other plant stuff on the other side of the tree. I have to mention my favorite upgrade that I messed around with, and that was putting Pin on Entangle. I'm in love with Pin after playing a Tactician. Pin's amazing. And
Especially the little spines go up from the ground and shoot through them, right?
Too. And I do think Pin or some sort of slow scaling seems like a very good idea here, as you really want to cause enemies to, just get bogged down and stacked up in your 4 overlapped Entangles and 2 giant vine slap fields with briar patches and double storms on top. That's where all the fun's happening. You want all the mobs to be in there. So pinning them in place is really nice. But you could totally add maim and do like slow effectiveness scaling as well. I've done that sort of stuff on grenades before. It's really nice. Now you may be thinking, looking at the footage here, that DPS looks a bit meh, and you'd be right. But in Rainy Druid's defense, I was still using my level 2 fire damage stuff at this point, so I just kind of forgot about it all this time, so I was focused on
Bunch of skill speed in this area, which is nice.
the shape-shifting stuff.
And it's skill speed instead of like cast speed or action or attack speed, so it helps out both.
Classic spellcaster builds using Act 1 weapons into endgame.
Chance, skill CB while shapeshifted.
Right. But bear with me though, as I do get myself a physical spell staff kind of soon. It takes me a little while, but I get it eventually. In the meantime, I do grab Oil Barrage for the Wyvern, which exposes and slows enemies, just like Oil Grenade. But we'll come back to this skill a bit later, as it's got a pretty fun empowered inversion that I tested.
Yeah, exactly. That's why skill speed's good. Yeah. We were talking about it a little bit before you got here.
DPS from gear and
hoping the tree emphasizes the hybrid playstyle a lot.
Caused me to have a bit of mana issues with this playstyle here. That's not untypical for things like this, and it was made much worse by my questionable choice to use overabundance on everything, doubling the cast that I needed to do on, lacking DPS. I'm happy to say that this was a problem that solved itself after I got a couple of upgrades, since it was mostly just the fact that I was missing a lot of damage ultimately. Despite my waning DPS at this point, Zakotal went pretty smoothly, and this playstyle is just pretty comfy overall. Sustained AoE spell styles often are. It's interesting how different it is from the other playstyles I'd messed with on the Druid though, like, it's such a varied class.
I'm not ready yet. Have a vow, don't give anything for free, do they?
So I finally managed to get myself that proper staff, getting a Fizz Spell Gems one with some nice Fizz Spell damage too. And I didn't do the math on my crafting choice, so I don't want to hear about it. Don't worry about it. Either way, this thing made a huge difference from my old piece of garbage that I had like 50% fire damage or something on it. And I got it just in time to go through the often aggravating Trial of Chaos, and I'm super happy with how smoothly it went. Slows, pins, range, sustained spell damage, it all worked really nicely for most of the encounters here, and at this point with the upgrade, the damage was enough to move through, even through the escort quests pretty comfortably. I actually had one of the comfiest Nightmare Bird kills too. This thing is an absolute menace so often. I was really happy I didn't have to like rerun it just because like it went perfectly first time. Circle around, dump everything on the giant boss, perfect.
Your flying days are over, friend.
So this let me unlock the Bringer of the Apocalypse node, which I test a little bit later on, as I was still testing the Planty Druid on my new stuff. I just got the stuff, let me have a chance with it. I'm still underleveled and missing passives, and this cheeky lady here likes to roll out of my AoEs, so that took a little while, but overall, like, once I got it online, the plant druid, the water my plants druid felt very comfortable and very fun. Enjoy watering your plants at launch, garden druids. So next up, I wanted to mess around a bit more with Wyvern and also test Apocalypse, the uber skill from the Shaman. We'll get to Apocalypse in a moment. First, I wanted to return to the Oil Barrage skill. What's normally a utility skill here becomes a pretty hilarious lightning single target barrage when empowered with a power charge. So it spends a power charge if you have one to make the barrage much longer with a bunch of added lightning damage.
Hey, you garnish how much
should be
fun?
Free charges, you can just like
maybe
hold the button.
I think Oracle's gonna be pretty good with it too. Couldn't obviously the passive tree.
Easily, generate 3 power charges. So I was actually able to use this and the melee lightning form a bit more comfortably here. Indeed, like the combination now of having Devour, Wing Blast, and Barrage made Wyvern feel a bit more well-rounded, but is still definitely the more complicated one to play here. That lightning barrage is just absolutely hilarious. I will not be surprised if we see some sort of like boss barrage deletion endgame build here. I don't know if you can really call the one-shot ones a barrage like that, but I expect to see something disgusting with this. That's if, people figure out some easy way to get those first set of power charges at least.
Wild take ya! You've lost your ruddy mind!
So I didn't get a chance to barrage a boss. Kitsuli died before I could stun them, so, well, good problem to have, I guess. I was surprised just that I was doing okay damage just off the back of, like, basic kind of Wyvern gameplay here, not really doing anything fancy.
I do not want to be rolling magma. I hate that skill, POE1.
And finally, let's take a look at Apocalypse now. I didn't really have any supports for this skill, so this is just pure vanilla Apocalypse, but it's pretty strong right away, and it seems usable pretty often too. Apocalypse is
150
a glory
glory,
skill,
Jesus.
with glory for this being gained by hitting enemies with elemental damage. So obviously, you're just doing that constantly, especially
How much
like
donation make you start rolling magma? $1,000.
Ticking that up at max rate. So it's easy enough with the added random elemental damage on the node that you get before it as well. So it's going to happen regardless of your build.
Begone, foul creature!
Give Kitty a treat.
Using the skill causes a long duration where you passively rain down meteors, hailstorms, and lightning crashes randomly around you.
I'll have to
It's
find one in a little
duration-based
bit.
as well, so you know there's room to
We'll
make
finish
it
the video
last longer
first, and then
too
I'll
if you
go
want.
find one.
What can I say? Skills like this are really fun. I
$1,000.
expected to
XD
struggle
smile.
a lot on the Viper boss. She's tiny, she's dangerous, she moves around a lot. Doing this on Wyvern, I was like groaning walking up to it, but it was okay. Apocalypse and some range spam from Wyvern form handled it fairly well. Even if it wasn't super quickly, it went okay. I'm coping. So I had a brief moment to play with
Tornado!
a physical duration spell I mentioned earlier. It can suck up elemental ground to empower itself. The only problem is that it's surprisingly
has two
hard
there.
to do that on the druid's basic skill set at least. So there's the oil barrage is the only way that I really know of by default, and you can ignite that, but it's a little difficult to do, and it leaves oil ground if it's the non-empowered version. So if you have a power charge and you try to put oil ground down, it will it will just use the lightning version instead. So that's kind of funny. So I am sure that there's like some easy spells you can pinch from the elemental tree, or like support gem combos or something to generate ground to empower the tornado. And in the end, it's a fizz spell that you can couple in with the plant rainy druids. You know, tornadoes are something you can add into your storms, I suppose, for a bit of extra sustained area damage there. And you can also work it into your elemental builds with that ground empowerment. It's another sustained spell you can throw down before shapeshifting too. You've got a lot of them at this point. Sadly, that is all I managed to do in my brief visit to the Grinding Gear Games studio this time. It's probably for the best though, as I do need to rest and look after my family. Thanks for all the well wishes as well. I was really stoked to see how much you all enjoyed part 1, and hopefully you enjoyed part 2 as well. I'm looking forward to seeing you on stream at launch, and maybe for some Druid and Vile Temple guides.
Alright, that's pretty much the video. Alright, so what did we learn? 1, Pounce has built-in mark on hit, which I think I remember them saying in the thing and I just forgot about until now. We also learned some of the passives on the passive tree for the druid area are definitely based around like the hybrid playstyle, which is nice. But I think I'm most interested in not being a hybrid playstyle. Just being a werewolf, making a big wolf pack. Actually, I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go find a cat to give a treat. So give me 1 second. Alright, it took me a little bit of time because I couldn't find one that wasn't sleeping. Now I did though. Ava, like me. Oh, we'll get her up here and we'll give her a treat. Hey, boy. Up here. Come on. Alright. There's the kitty. Here's the tweets. Maybe refill this one because it's getting a little low. There you go. Thank you, Marshall. There you go. Now she's irritated because another cat's coming by. XD smile. Alright. Alright, cooking stuff. So takeaways from Happy Kitty, yeah. Takeaways from the video. Honestly, Wyvern still looks really weak in its second showing. I know they said it has one that has the most work to do on it, but like besides Devour, I really don't care about the other skills. I mean, obviously he can show the Dragon's Breath thing, which is like the big payoff at the end, right? But Wyvern looks a little bit kind of whatever, even though being a Wyvern itself is cool thematically. So I'll probably stick with Werewolf and or Bear. Alright. So we can't actually see what nodes are up here, and obviously that's really far to go from here. But I think still playing a Witch Hunter is really sweet. Like, just making strikes do big damage up front. Calling strike built in automatically is huge. Undecided on if I should go in here or if I should figure out exactly what this means. I don't understand what the concentration mechanic is. So this could be extra damage if I want to, or I could always go with like this for like more, explodes and stuff. But probably mostly going to the defensive thing. Pathfinder Poison Gardener could be interesting. It could, yeah. The issue we have with that is that Pathfinder's in a weird. I guess you technically could do the new travel node, right, and just start over here. Get like some hybrid stuff, like start in the druid area, get hybrid stuff. This node's gone. This is still here though, right? It's just the prolif is gone. So you get like 2 points here. Let's go back to the patch notes real quick. I need to look at them. Probably should have just searched Pathfinder. It's been a lot easier than what I'm doing right now. But they're already here, so too late. So yeah, that's the spread one. Practical Remedies has been removed, which I think is just that one we really don't care about. So this and these two you would want. Actually, I guess that's like you don't necessarily need this one, the Traveler's Wisdom thing. If you want the extra choices, that's obviously good, but you don't necessarily require to get that. This is the one where you want to. This is first. This is the one that puts you over the starting area, but it only puts you in the opposite thing. So it only puts you in either Sorceress or Warrior. So it doesn't put you in Druid specifically. Wrong one. So we would have to start like here, or like here kind of thing, and then go into Druid. Which still like isn't the worst or anything, right? But it would be cool if we could start at like any of the other options. Like if we could start here as well, like as a third option, would be sweet. Like I understand why they don't care about starting these two zones because they're right next to each other, but this one is on the opposite side of the tree, so it would be sweet if I could just start here. Yeah, either pretty close. Yeah, it just depends on which one you want to start with. Like because you literally could just pick like the one node, and then do travel nodes to over here if you want to, and not care about the actual starting zone of like this stuff. But it would be cool to do this though, because being able to Interesting. So yeah, we don't know what's gonna be here next, right? So we have no idea what this actually looks like. So we don't really stare here anymore. But the Pathfinder thing could be cool. You can take the one node right here to go there. You don't have to take Traveler's Wisdom, which gives you the extra benefits. You can if you want to later on. But you could obviously go here, which I assume still works, and this is just removed. So that's just like a one passive thing now, or a one ascendancy point thing now, right? Gonna do split tree points on the Witch Hunter? Oh, like the Weapon Mastery points? Thought about it. If you want, especially if you want to play like a hybrid playstyle, the Weapon Master points are obviously amazing for that. Will I do that on League Start? Probably not. Will I do that later on? We'll just have to see how long I have interested in POE2. Honestly, I'm kind of more interested in just doing Witch Hunter to begin with, just to get like the early progression going, and then switching to Tactician and doing like the Wolfpack thing. Cause I still think that Witch Hunter's stronger earlier. Cause like, what would I grab early here? Like that would be like strong, you know? Like the reservation thing is kind of okay, but you don't get a lot of spirit gems early on, so like that'd be a weird first node to take, right? I guess, but not a power node, you know? I don't want to go into totems. Mobilization buildup could be okay with Werewolf because that just helps out with the freeze buildup. So that's kind of okay, but it's just more freeze buildup. I don't know. Maybe we can start Tactician. I think calling, tracking, and decimating is really good. I think this into this is potentially be good if the Wolfpack thing's easy to manage by the time you get second ascendancy. Okay, so this has been removed. They don't mention the other ascendancy though, the other poison one. So I imagine this is still there, and it's just a one point thing now. It has no travel node, right? So you still get the double poisons, which is great for the plant thing. What the fuck is this? Is this the new one? I think so, because this node wasn't here before, right? Sorry, I'm in the way of the top part. Let me move my camera, I guess, make it easier for people to see what the new node says. I'll turn my camera off for a second. So this new node that we didn't know about before, so Moment of Vulnerability. Here you go. Sends out a temporal Nova, taking advantage of the enemy's moments of vulnerability, hitting an enemy that are primed for stun, electrocution, or freeze. Causes a visage of them to appear. That's the one they talked about in the thing. They just didn't show it on the tree yet. Got it. Kind of reminds me of Alawi from League of Legends. Oh, you sent both of them? What one did I click first? Okay, that's the... Here we go. Alright. We're at New Apocalypse. Turning Seasons we saw actually in the video, so we know what this one is now. Looks like it no longer has a 3-point node choice anymore. It's just one thing now. Which is cool. I mean, exposure is generic, and then the extra random element is fine. This is still 40... Am I silent? My voice thing's moving. Was I silent? Was I not talking the whole time? Is Marshall crazy? Am I crazy? I'm good? Okay, thank you, Smug. Marshall's just being crazy. Got it. Is it you? I'm not. Yeah. Smug said I'm good. It's you. You think. Can you hear you clear? Thank you, Smug. I appreciate it. So let's see. Anything that was changed from here? This looks relatively all the same. This is the same, so probably very powerful if you don't like your charm slots. We don't know how powerful this node is yet because we don't know the bonded modifiers. They could probably potentially be really cool. To 2 rage, 1 spell damage is the same thing. So nothing looked like it was really changed for the most part, besides this one node that was invisible before. Okay. And this still has all the cool stuff that I cared about before. Because honestly, I don't think I care about the extra skills, like these two in the middle. I think it's just going on the outside wings. That was weird. Twitch said no more audio for you. Weird. Is it like that for if I look up my Twitch right now? Hold on a second. All right. I am talking. Let's see if I start saying stuff. No, I hear myself talking. No, it was me. You finish the sentence and then silence? Okay. So fucking funny. All right. Moving on from Marshall's whole spiel. Apps are great. Yeah, the app is superb. um Honestly, this being a 2-pointer, the walk the paths not taken, and not be the 4-pointer is pretty great. I like that. And this could be Twined Realities could be potentially cool, right? So we don't know what is changing over here. Like we don't know all the details yet, but like let's imagine like this right here. And you could allocate things. How big is the radius? What did it say it was? A medium radius. Medium radius is green line? Or blue line? In POE2. Go to a more dense area. So like just imagine like this area right here, and you can allocate like this node without traveling here. You do this node without traveling here, that kind of stuff. Like that's pretty sweet if you get a good area that has like a lot of stuff that you don't want to travel to, but you want the like keystone there. So we'll have to see. Obviously, that depends on a lot of the Oracle stuff. Just depends on the tree. But these 2 nodes I think are really sweet, and I'm very interested in it. I just don't have information on the tree. If I were to make a last minute change, it probably would be an Oracle Druid. Just because we get like maybe the tree before launch tomorrow. I'm like, panic. But besides that, hits are taken from mana before life. Your current mana is higher than the king. Less life, less mana. Could be interesting. I think I just go double bottom and then go here. And then if I go to 4th node, I can go over here and get available crits. But I think just this right here is really good for a defensive measure of the enemy's crit hit chance is unlucky, and the damage of enemies hitting you is unlucky. So I think that's just really sweet. Like I said, you can go here necessarily for if you do a bunch of mana and life scaling kind of hybridness. I don't really care for the other 2 new skills though. Like they're interesting, right? Maybe one day I'll use them, but off the top of my head, I don't really care as much. This just looks powerful. Like if you just want generic, easy going without a lot of worry, Shaman's the way to go, because you can see all what Shaman offers, whereas you can't really see what Oracle offers yet. Only thing you can't see, obviously, is the bonded modifiers. But like even if you ignored that one node and just grabbed other nodes, then you're gonna be in a good spot. Okay. Thank you, Beyond. I'll post those into the Discord. So that people have those. I can always go back and view them later. Show us a lot of good nodes. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Close that off. Okay. So honestly, I don't want to make the tree too much because I think I'm mostly just following the same tree I made before. Uh, unless we go more into like the minion based stuff. Which there's no like really minion stuff over here. Are the wolves are considered minions though, right? Minion damage. There is a cold resistance. Where's it at? Is it here? Maybe I am crazy. Well, there was like an ignore cold resistance thing. Anyone know what I'm talking about? This one right here. Here it is. Heavy Frost. So this is actually pretty decent to like anoint. If I was playing the build, it wasn't cold resistance. It's just elemental resistances, which is still great, and it has freeze build up, which is nice. So not a bad anointment. I mean, I was playing the cast on crit version. This is still pretty good too, right? Pretty sweet. Okay. But yeah, looking at the tree I made last league, let's just look at this one. We'd probably be pretty close to this with obviously taking out some of the nodes for like grenade stuff, and we don't need crossbow reload. We don't need these crossbow skills here. All this is still great. We don't need projectile damage, so we would just probably path it differently. Not there. Drain life's kind of okay, I guess. Air effect's probably pretty good, actually. Maybe we could path through here instead. Or you can just take travel nodes, 1, 2. Save a bunch of these points right here. But like the deflection stuff, I don't know how I feel about the deflection stuff, I'll be honest. Does the is it conversion stuff for these gems? Do they show cross slash? It doesn't say what kind of damage it is yet. Wait. This one converts. I say they all convert. %52 damage gained is cold is huge, by the way. What is this? Ah, what full information? GG. Also, look at all the talismans. Thunder one, Cinder Bark. So I guess those are elemental based. There's so many different talismans though. Howling Talisman. Let's go. What's the... Is that just their default attack as the one he was talking about before? I need a cough drop real quick. Oh well. So we can assume if we look at melee stuff, we're just gonna work off this tree and I'll save it somewhere else. Is there any good melee nodes in the area? Oh right, I really need to get some accuracy, right? I bet like at least a little bit. This is all one-handed. Ooh, I should be to get some rage stuff too, though, right? So if we're going, maybe I don't go this side as much. I obviously don't need this because I'm probably doing more than just one. So we can drop that. We don't need penetrate if we're going to be doing whatchamacallit. We can technically stop here. Still think these are strong. Don't know how to feel about the deflect stuff. What is this? Just a bunch of strength? Beef! They added beef to this. That's so fucking funny, by the way. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna use this base as a baseline tree. Do the thing I did the first let's not save this one. The first starting maps area. Hey, my links. Like this, and then obviously once again just don't take the ballista stuff, but like going through here in the middle instead of going around the side. Because we ended up specking out of the crit stuff just because I realized how hard it is to scale crit in this game. So I was like, crit stuff bad, I don't want to do that. Let's even go to the Act 4 tree. This is close to what we're aiming for early on. Like, so we get out of these nodes. This gives attack speed, attack damage, 100 DPS increase, 130. Okay, it is better. I think I can get the whole thing if I want to. Take off this, take off that. And we probably lean more into this side. So I think going here, 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 here. So I think we want to grab this over here as well. I don't care. We're not going to look at the stats right now. Because I think grabbing this is good because it also gives attack speed to your wolves, your wolfies. Can you pick up this right here? Doesn't matter. Take this off. Take this off. We don't need this. We don't need necessarily this right here. And this. And this. Alright. Now from here, what do we want to do? We don't need grenade stuff. Presence area effect might be sweet. Increase accuracy rating. Damage while you have an ally is pretty big. Maybe that's pretty sweet. Just if you're going to the wolf thing. More attack damage here, and accuracy while moving is whatever. Not necessarily what we're looking for. Move speed, attack speed's not bad. We went over here. We could technically. That's not good. Never mind. I don't want that. Chance to block. And we're already here. We can grab at least area damage and area effect for attack. So this is not bad either. But you do the cross slash thing. You want to go through here? What does this grab me? Endurance charge when you gain a endurance charge. Maximum endurance charges. If we go hybrid bear / werewolf form, could be good. I think getting some rage on hits actually really a good idea too. Attack speed, accuracy rating, and dexterity. Don't look at the tree right now. It's fine. Don't look at the tree. It's gonna be okay, chat. Blinding enemies with attacks is not bad either. It's a good defensive measure. How much is presence area effect important? Can't go hybrid though. How can we AU all day? Do we know if the wolves persist if you switch forms? What are some other ways in POE2? They're not companions, right? So the companion stuff doesn't matter with it. In that first video, lame. Tell them to make it better. Honestly, I think I'm just gonna grab all these nodes. We might as well grab that. If we're right here, even if I don't go any further, that's just a jewel socket for 1 point. Wolves persist, swap at your leisure. Oh, well, then we're good. So we can AU either way. Don't worry, chat. We can AU. Don't worry, chat. You can always do the surrounded helmet. You have to be you can only get down to 1 now instead of 0, for what I heard people talking about. So we could technically do that. Iron Reflexes is kind of a cool node. Probably want those new gloves too, the buffed gloves. I wonder if those will be expensive early on or not. This doesn't give you leech, right? It just makes it to where your leech is better. There's no way to actually get leech on the tree, right? It's only coming from like items and stuff. Wolves are minions though, right? They are not companions. This doesn't say anything for me right now. Minions. Okay. I was pretty sure because they're summoned and there's multiple of them. Companions are like supposed to be like a one of kind of thing, right? So unfortunately, I can't benefit from like these nodes. Not a lot of minion nodes in the area either. By not a lot, I mean like none. Other than these way over here. A lot of this stuff is not even minion damage based. There we go. Got some finally. Is the survivability of our wolves going to be an issue? I think the big good thing is if you're tactician, you're gaining this. You're using it as a supplement to you already being amazing, kind of thing. You're not really playing a minion build where you depend on your minions. Minion damage. You're just having minions and then supplementing with this. If we were to play minion build, would you just do Wolf's Infernalist? You can summon an Infernal Hound. You can get other wolves. You can be a werewolf. You can get like extra spirit from one of these things, right? Oh, it's this one right here. And you're also starting like a more of a minion focused area if you're going to play like a full minion build with wolves. Tornado Wyvern's getting chopped off. I don't think that's going to be worth it. Chronomancer is also getting chopped off. They nerfed Incinerate, which is the main one I want to use with that build. Bleed, Expo, also getting cut off. I need to narrow stuff down. I think to have a Bear Slam Volcano is still really sweet. What do you say Volcano? What's the Bear Slam? We'll combine these into... and I'm probably going to do Permafrost with it. I'm probably just going to make it just a pure werewolf build. And I can always fall back on Permafrost if I need to. Plant Oracle or Shaman, depending on what we get. Was it nerfed? It was changed. I mean, it was nerfed for what I wanted to use it for, even though it was changed. It's nerfed in the sense that way it's made now, it doesn't work with the idea that I had. And if we're being real with ourselves, there's like very little chance that we end up going a monk. The Infernalist is also probably we're not gonna do it. Second Ignite is interesting though. Is 75 milliseconds a quick number for second Ignite? To be fair, the Ignite stuff does look cool. They did add a lot of Ignite stuff. They've been talking about Ignite a shit ton for this patch. Like, oh, we're adding more Ignite magnitudes and like more so on and so forth crap. Flammability to the tree. We buffed a bunch of these other things for Ignite, so Ignite could be pretty sweet. Is Ignite Prolif in the game? You're getting 13.33. Does it actually... Let me go back and read it. We're going down in an earlier round. Does Ignite work differently in POE2? Does it stack like Poison's supposed to, like does in POE1? Stack specifically with the spell. From Talkative Try interview. Does it stack indefinitely, or is there a cap to the stack? Do you have Talkative? What the hell is Talkative Try? Oh, it's Rax. Oh wait, no, this isn't by Rax. This Rax is talking about someone else's interview. This one? I do not want to watch an hour and 40-minute long video. Do you know what part of it is that? Wait, Wyvern info? Wait, so is this the interview people were upset about? I saw a lot of people posting about how like GG's not getting involved with like the traditional content creators from like POE1, and they're only talking to like obscure people from like other things or whatever. Because I think it's a stupid argument for one thing, but is this what triggered that whole response from the old heads of content creators for POE? Wait, where? You said earlier. Were they still talking about it? And I just skipped over it. Sorry, I will make this to where y'all can hear this. I realize now that it's a little annoying for me to just be sitting here listening to it myself. So we'll watch this a little bit. I'm just skipping around though for the most part, just to get the part that Marshall was talking about a second ago.
Like in the kind of more mid-game options for that, well, I mean, even early game, really. You've got things like Wing Blast that can generate charges, and like, so for example, what we're doing with that is like during regular clearing, it only generates charges very occasionally. For boss fights, you'll generate 3 charges when you use it on a Prime for Stun monster. So you can do that sort of, but as I said, in that context, it's more of an ultimate type ability. So if you want to do the kind of like pure totem build, you're going to need to find a solution to that isn't just in the like base skill set. It's going to involve supports and uniques and stuff like that.
Cool, thank you. All right, moving over to a melee-focused question here. So back when a bulk of the melee skills were first developed, I believe the game didn't have WASD implemented, so a lot of movement was baked into the skills to make them feel really good. And then when WASD was implemented, you guys went back and you added movement to a lot of the ranged base.
All right, so he's no longer talking about the wire and stuff. Which point was he talking about it, Marshall? Go back to the dot thing. Maybe talk about it here
A little bit earlier with the ignite on the wyvern and incinerate, changing up how ignite works. A lot of people like the fantasy of hitting monsters really, really fast and applying lots of dots on them, as opposed to just the one big hit magnitude that you need to do in POE2 right now to apply a big dot. Is that a fantasy that you guys are going to keep working on implementing with bleed, ignite, or elements like that?
We'll probably do some adjustments, but at the I don't know, like there isn't like an immediately clear, obvious like here's the change that's going to happen here. Like we're going to have to come up with something different. I think that it's pretty interesting what we've done with the wyvern, flame breath, and incinerate. Like I think that can go some way, but I think it's kind of going to come down to individual skills, like what are different ways. I wouldn't want to change the system in general.
Hey, where's cold dot? Jonathan, I have a question for you. Where is cold damage over time? Give me Wintertide brand. Actually, I don't think they don't have any brands in the game. I don't know if they're ever planning on adding any brands, but come on. I guess Cold Dot can't really exist in their current format of the way they make things too, because there's no like damage over time multi stuff. It's all based on like magnitudes and stuff, right? Like there's no real damage over time. Like nodes. It's just like based off magnitudes and shit like that right now. So Cold Dot wouldn't even function the way it does already. Okay.
General,
Mhm.
because like
Cold Dot is Tornado if it runs over chilled ground. I can make chilled ground with my werewolf.
so in POE1 you could kind of do this, but like the specking was just kind of a few different random multiplicative scalars that didn't really make sense, and I kind of didn't love it. You need like a thematically sensible way for it to happen, that also can't be taken advantage of, and like in a negative way. So like it's kind of a little bit tricky.
Cold Dot werewolf.
I do understand that like that is a fantasy, but yeah, like it's I think it's going to come down to individual skills and uniques and stuff like that to sort of enable that. Maybe even a keystone. Like there was some discussion of like a keystone to change ignite into more of a different way. To apply it, but we didn't quite work out exactly how that could work yet. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be like the core way it works. It'll be more just like unlocked by other mechanics, I would say.
Okay. Okay. Uh, you were talking about builds that you guys were designing for the druid. You're going to release them in a few
Mhm.
videos.
Okay. Okay. Does this stand out as something that would be about? No, I have no idea. Okay, I'll just trust that what you said is true. I am curious to know how much it stacks, if it's indefinite, that kind of thing. Because right here says it does not stack. But obviously, this is not. This is the old information, and it's changed now. Um. So yeah, so I'm curious if there's a cap to this. Because if there's not a cap to this, you can stack a shit ton of ignite. That being said, ignite's usually based off of the hit, right? So what is it basing the damage off of for the ignite here? Is it just are the ignites being based now off of this instead of the hit? It's like this is the ignite. Amount of fuel you can store. True. Where's the fuel line at? 5 seconds of fuel, previously 10 seconds, no longer has multiple stages. Now has gained 7 minus 2 milliseconds of fuel per mana spent. Previously, oh, it's not minus, it's through. Why is it? So you cap out at 5 seconds. How does this skill have a cooldown, or can you just like go straight back into it again? All right, and then back to the original point: is there Ignite Prolif in POE2? Like there was Poison Prolif, but they removed that. Is there Ignite Prolif or no? Sorta. What is it? Give me update. Damn. Minions are allies though, right? So allies stuffs works. The new wind support is gonna blow the ignite to the mobs behind it. Wind blast. Not this skill. This is an attack. This is not a support. What am I talking about? I vaguely remember that being a thing. Do you remember what it was called? Nope. All right. All right. Honestly, this is pretty cool. Oh, it only triggers for 7 seconds? That's so long. Never mind. That's not cool anymore. That's terrible. That description. So fucking funny. I don't see it on here. I do vaguely remember that existing though. I just don't remember what it was. Might be one of the ones that aren't actually revealed here yet. Fan the Flames 2? Is it just called Fan the Flames? See Fan the Flames 2. Where's Fan the Flames 1? Probably it though. I would imagine that's it. I wish I could read information on it though, like how it triggers and stuff. Like, does this wind just happen sometimes for funsies? Oh, once again, more stuff that I wish I had right now so I can cook with it. All right, this we can get rid of. Fuck is this Sphinx the Frost again? Oh, it's like a parry ability. It's pretty funny. All right, allies. Any more ally stuff in this area that I care about? Banner grants to allies. What do I want to? What do I want to gain glory for? What is glory used for? Hey, this is actually pretty good. Oh, that sounds pretty good too. Reduced effect area effect is a little bit of a bummer, but like giving them rage as well. Pretty big, right? So this is a really good ally node cluster. Bannerman? I don't want to do Bannerman. Bannerman. What do I do? Oh. Alright, so we don't get minion stuff, but we do get a little bit of ally stuff, which is not nearly as much as the minion stuff, but it'll be okay. Like, even getting this just a big amount of damage on top of what you're already giving them from, like, your Wolf Howl and stuff like that. And we can get them Rage from here. Obviously, your presence radius would be down, but pretty good. So, like, this whole wheel is probably pretty solid. And then you would obviously say, I said you want Rage, so I mean, this is the easiest one to get to. Tree's looking uglier by the minute, chat. Gain accuracy equal to your strength? It's gonna be a strength and weapon, right? So we don't need dexterity in this build, so gaining accuracy towards equal to our strength is not bad. Alright, I'm gonna run the restroom real quick. I'm gonna turn the light on. If you guys have ideas about or just want to talk about what you're doing, let me know. All right. Got him Tyler Scott for 7 months in a row. Woo! Sorry, I walked away, Tyler. My bad. Howdy, buddy. Appreciate the support. Thank you so much. I think I'm still going this way. I know we talked about how it's a strength and weapon. Some of these lines are going to need to be intelligence, probably. But I think we're going this way. And I think, honestly, picking up the attack damage and accuracy rating here might help out with some of that. But we'll once again just have to see, I suppose. Armor also applies to fire damage, is pretty sweet. Warcry speed and damage increase for each different Warcry. Oh, different Warcries. No, I'm good. I'm okay. More crit stuff. More leech stuff. This is accuracy at close range, so we can always go here if we need more accuracy as well. I need to figure out what skills have what do glory and if I actually want to use them. This is more surrounded stuff. Reduced accuracy, but more damage. Hey, more rage. Oh, this is all maximum rage stuff too. What are you up to today, Tyler? Do I just like... If I don't go Sork Ward, right? If I say this and I don't go Sork Ward, and I pick up like, I don't know, this and Weapon Master or something like that. Should I just convert everything to armor? Should I just go pure armor to begin with? Is it like POE 1 where going hybrids and then transforming with the keystones better? So this right here, without stats on it, stuff like that. Oh, is there better ones? Here we go. That one says 640. The one that doesn't have the modifier on it, which I think you would want the modifier to be honest, but I would say 640 is what this one shows. A little bit under 700. 670, so it's a little bit better of a base to go to the hybrid. What'd you say? I don't remember. +2 maximum endurance charges? That's pretty big. Is there also like an equal frenzy charge one like that? In like the ranger area? +1? +1? +2. Okay, so there is. What's the big benefit of going Witch Hunter though? Besides just going, I guess, culling strike and stuff like that? Automatically? The culling stuff's pretty solid. Better mobilization probably on the side of the tree as well. We could also just not go Witch Hunter and go straight into Tactician. Or I'd go here. I'd do both of those. That's not what I'm gonna do. I just need more information. That's the biggest thing that we're running into constantly. Like I need to know which spirit gems are in here, what their costs are. Actual gem information would be great. I guess the issue we're gonna run into a lot is that we just don't have a lot to cook with. You can throw around ideas, like a lot of people are doing right now, where it's like, oh, this could all be really cool. This is supposed to be here. This is gonna be here. All that kind of stuff. What it comes down to is just like you want the skeleton essentially, and I already have the skeleton of what I want. What'll actually build or make the build is whether or not we get certain things in our gems and that kind of stuff. So we can't put meat on the bones until we have the information. The skeleton's roughly this though, 62. So like campaign finishing kind of stuff. I think this is a decent skeleton for it. Probably the witch hunter version though, not the tactician version. Actually, wait, no, for the tactician version, probably fine. I really hope that we can get really good talismans so that watch how I do it becomes actually pretty good. Because that'll add a lot of damage to your werewolves. Also, depending on how many werewolves you can have, Ziggy D did not clarify what the number was. He did say that you can get a large number that he did not assume would be true. So it could be potentially good. All right, so this character, I'm just gonna save this as is. We're gonna go with that. So wolf pack tact. All right. Up next, crying. I just saved it. What do you mean unsave changes? Save. We're gonna look at the Smith of Katava, which is a warrior. Titan could also be really cool for this, but we're specifically looking at Smith of Katava. What's up? Okay. As far as nodes go, we can essentially get fire spell on melee hit. Could be really cool depending on what we can trigger with this. So that's always a thing. If you can get the volcano on hit and it works the way everyone hopes it is, that would be obviously huge. After that, you could either go 1-2 and just use regular armor and stuff like that, and it helps you out with your resistances, or you can go into here and grab some nodes, kind of thing. So these will be changed a good bit. Like there's a couple might removed, like the cold res and the lightning res. I'm pretty sure aren't here anymore. And some other stuff was added in. Some stuff was also buffed. So like the 50%, this right here, I'm pretty sure is now 100% reduction. So it's just crit immune. So that's a pretty big defensive bonus. And then like yeah, obviously there's just like a huge amount of stuff here, and all these nodes should have 200 flat armor on them. So they'll be really good. This node right here also doesn't count as a node. If you notice at the top, I'm at 2 for sanity points. So like this node right here is free. So that means I get 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7 or 8. So I can get up to 6 nodes here if I also grab this, and I use all my sanity points on it, which is half of the node options. So you can build some pretty sweet armor early on. So I might just do this early on. And then later on, once I can actually craft good gear, switch over into like this kind of setup and maybe use temper weapon or manifest weapon, because manifest weapon they said does work with the talismans. Will it make you like a little bear companion? Who knows? But it could be cool. I think early on, I think going here is great. Let's look at exactly what I would want to take. So obviously taking this. There was a lot of changes to the Katava. It's like the one that had the most changes. So padded plates. Oh my god, I want to do that. Padded plates has been removed, which I think is over here. So cold res is moved. Lead lining has been removed, so that's that one. Heavy braces has been removed. So the stun threshold. And then in place of padded plates, you get glory generation. In place of lead plates, you get thorns damage. And in place of heavy bracing, body armor grants 30% increased spirit. Which I don't know if I care about that or not. Yeah. I asked what you wanted, you said nothing. I don't. Okay. I forgot what information we're talking about. All right, so the thorns damage and the glory generation. Glory generation might actually be decent. It looks like some of the skills need glory to work. Which is that? Does that show that on here? Do they show like apocalypse and stuff on here? They don't. Fair enough. But I'm pretty sure. Oh wait, where's the? I think I posted in the Discord. Let's go back to it real quick. Well, Apocalypse doesn't matter. Apocalypse is literally a whole other tendency. I can't make Apocalypse on Smith. I need to stop trying to think of that. So if there's other skills that use glory that I might want to use, then the glory generation part might be good. But for now, we'll pretend like it isn't. And we're only going to plan for 6 of 8, so I only need to get 4 points. Because I'm not going to plan for getting the 4th tendency done until later. Heat proofing is now bonus to unaffected by all damaging ailments. So it's right here. So that's just a banger. And the crit thing's 100%. So I think crit one, I think these two are what definitely what I want. What do I want for the other nodes? Do I want to have armor applies to elemental damage? Probably pretty good. This is already removed. Okay with that one. Maybe this and this. It'll give us an 800 armor, body armor with these stats on it. This will be unaffected by all ailments. This will be immune to crit. This will be armor helps apply to chaos damage, and this will be armor helps apply to elemental damage, which will make up for the fact that we don't have chaos res or elemental resistances on our armor. So I think that's probably pretty solid, and then we still do the fire on hit thing. If we decide not to do that, then obviously we can pick 2 more of these things or whatever. But I think this is going to be the first layout for that character. All right, make big. For the bear, do we want to go into the defensive stuff, or do we want to go into the offensive stuff? I think defensive stuff's actually pretty good. But I'm a big defensive enjoyer. 8% increased, pretty big when we have a large amount of armor from our base. Bree just subscribed for 7 months in a row. Thank you so much, Bree. Appreciate the support. 7 whole months. Kitty Jam. Kitty Jam indeed. Kitty Jam. Kitty Jam. Why people happy? Yeah, why people happy indeed. Breaking armor doesn't matter for elemental damage, right? This is pretty good though. Maximum endurance charges. What do you want anyway? Do I just go through here to get it though? Or do I just go around this way? Increased armor if you consumed an endurance charge recently. Increased armor. So there's a lot of increased armors. The sure Warbringer? Yeah, Warbringer has the new node where it applies to all hits, right? Which we're not. Which are the Katavas? Getting the Endure charge is probably good. Getting the Rage stuff is probably good for the bear. His extra fire is not bad. That's pretty good node. His get burning enemies is probably pretty good. Totem stuff, gross. Imagine being a totem enjoyer. It's funny, chat, because Marshall's a totem enjoyer. This is the big one, right? Yeah. Totems rule. More armor and armor applies to Ellie damage is just awesome. I love that. In fact, how many more of these can I have? Armor also applies. There's one over here too. Oh, it's like specifically for lightning damage though. Can I just have to all Ellie damage, or is it all specific for the other ones? Fire damage. Fire damage. All damage. The Project Zomboid community is living a high life right now. Every single one of the content creators that are following your stream. I was thinking, Tyler, I don't know if you're down or not, but after POE2, probably like around Christmas time when you have your PTO and stuff, if you want to play some Project Zomboid, like put up a server and stuff for the build 42, I'd probably be down to play if you're interested in whatnot. Like I probably have like 2 weeks in POE2, so like I'll be ending literally right before Christmas break, right before Christmas happens, which I'll have a couple days off to do Christmas stuff, and I'll come back. And I'm not sure what I'm gonna do afterwards, unless I'm still super excited for POE2, but I doubt it. 2 weeks is usually enough time for POE2. And so Project Zomboid will be a cool game to put in place until I decide what else I want to do in the new year. Yes, let's fucking go. All right, I take that as you are agreeing to it and are excited. Smile. You'll probably be stunning a lot of people, right? As a bear, because you're doing slams. Slams stun pretty easily, so these ones that give extra fire for it's heavily stunned probably ain't that bad, right? What if they updated this chat to where you can include talismans and you can have like hybrid forms, like a werebear wolf? You want time though? You'll get right more POE1 content. POE1 probably not gonna have anything until February, I assume. Making jagged ground, so that probably works out pretty well. Ooh, is Bleed Bear a good idea? I think this node right here is decent. I don't know how it would get here exactly, but I mean 30% armor. Is this all like stacks up? So like 30% here, I get 50% for my things, that's 80%. And then so and right here with this extra 15, 20, 25, 30. So I have like 110% of my armor applies to elemental damage. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. What was that other fire note I saw earlier? I was like, oh, I should get this. And everything. Oh, here it is. I don't care about the magnitude of the burn, right? I just care that they are burning. So this is what I would want if I'm not doing like any night build, right? Like I don't care if the magnitude's only about how much damage it actually does, or its flammability magnitude, how quickly they get ignited. Yeah, I had like 150%, and it was very tanky against it. Okay, cool. So it does go over 100%, and like it. It's like so like if you have like 100 armor, and you have 150% of your armor applies to LE hits, you technically have like 150 armor applying to it, kind of thing. Like it works like that. That's pretty good. And honestly, I mean, you're probably gonna be in this kind of area anyway, so this ain't bad for a tree. War cries of power, additional attacks. That's really good on the bear who wants to do slams, right? Area effective attacks. Strike splash, but we don't do strike, we do slams, so that's kind of unlucky. Just more armor for basing your strength requirements. That's pretty funny. His damage recouped as life. Life recoup's not bad. Honestly, there's actually a lot of like cool things in here for slams. For slamming bears. Wish that was different. Rage. Where's the rage nodes? It's right here. Okay, I knew it was in here there somewhere. This is all the maximum rage stuff, right? Might as well. It's 2 points. Oh, rage here too. Oh, and it grants more armor? I don't need this much rage generation, so I think I'll drop this part. I don't think I need this much rage generation. Maybe I will, and we'll pick it up if we need to later. I think this and this is probably fine. I haven't farmed the Marlowe. Oh, right, because he is a Zomboid fan. We did play with him that one time. Ooh, so help mana fixing? I don't know if that's necessarily needed, but that's good. That's right there. They are adding some nodes to this area, right? Most of the stuff is in this pie, though, right? But they are adding some stuff and changing some stuff in here as well. Marshall, what do you think so far for Bear Slammer? Fire Bear Slammer. Obviously, we're only level 54. Also, do you think these nodes were the good ones to pick for the armor, if I had to pick 4? Classic Slinky Tree? Fuck does that mean? Kobe Bryant? Big old lines? That's POE, baby. Yeah, I mean, I have some nodes in the middle here. I can get, like, for instance, if I need accuracy, I can pick this up. I just don't know how accuracy feels with melee. I know they improved it a bunch, and like same thing here, there's more accuracy here if I need it. I can get like some leech nodes if I feel like I'm not leeching fast enough. I'm not gonna do crit. That's never gonna be the play. So like there's things to pick up in the middle here. But nothing I'm like hyper excited for right away. I could technically go through this middle instead though. That one gives me a jewel node at least. If I don't care about the accuracy stuff as much. Oh, wait, isn't there another max endurance charge somewhere? 2, 3, 4. It's pretty good. I still think this is fine because once again, you want to just like it anyway. At one point here to get the rage stuff is not bad. I like this a little bit better. That's fair. This was a little bit awkward because there's not a lot of stuff on here that I want besides just accuracy stuff. This does give me a jewel socket. Also give me more rage right here if I want more, if I need more rage. Instead of going here, I can just go here. Skill effect duration might not be bad. Thorns. This crit? Yeah. Damage war cries? Is that like a certain war cries must do damage, I guess. The empowered attacks thing might not be bad. Area effect of aftershocks? We might if we need it more area effect and we use aftershock stuff, then sure. Warcry nodes here, not bad. I don't want hand weapons so I can eat it. Damage to two-handed weapons, but a reduced attack speed. I mean, it's extra damage. I feel like I need it.
You want some chicken nuggets?
Yeah. I would rather a sandwich if that's okay. 230? Break armor doesn't matter for us. Melee damage send enemies is kind of okay. Block chances, whatever. Yeah, I think this is okay. We could, in theory, do like this. Instead. I like a little bit better. Essentially changes one of these attribute points for an extra area attack damage thing. Area damage and area effect of spell things. Okay. This is 60-ish points, so this is yeah, I think this is my Smith thing. I think the early armor from this is gonna be really, really good and like super strong. You probably would just go straight into getting this as your first one. Because I'd imagine you don't want to do fire on hit right away unless there is a really cool fire spell on hit that I care about right away. In the Ziggy D video, did he show what level Volcano was? Was it early level? Ziggy D video. Oh, it's level 1? Alright. Maybe first spell on hit will be fun in level 1. Or not level 1, but like when I get my first ascendancy. Okay. Yeah, I think this is my general layout for my Fire Bear Smith of Katafa starter. Do I think the Shaman and stuff is going to be probably better? Maybe, yeah. I mean, there's a lot there with that, but it's harder to put in POB when I don't have the beta thing for it yet. I think this is pretty solid. I mean, you get a bunch of endurance charges, you get a bunch of rage, a bunch of armor applies to Ellie Res kind of thing, and you get like a bunch of extra fizz damage and fire, that kind of stuff. And you have other easy nodes to get to for things. Grab that. You have other easy nodes to get to for like extra damage. So for instance, going here for extra damage, you can path out this way instead if you want to for extra damage. Skill tree win. But I think these nodes are really strong, especially early on. Like this will be unaffected by all elemental ailments, so like you know about freeze and that kind of stuff either. This is just a solid amount of armor to apply to elemental damage, which gets us up to I think we did like math earlier, it was like 130 is what we're at. I don't remember what it was at. This will be 100% reduced crit damage. So just crit immune, and then this right here help you with the chaos res stuff and whatnot as well. Where your armor supplies the chaos damage. So while your armor won't have res on it, you'll have ways to help out with the lack of res on your base armor. And each one of these nodes gains 200 armor. So having 4 of these, my armor, I'll have 800 base armor from this, which is pretty good. Jagged ground could be sweet too. Yeah, like I said, some of these nodes are a little bit interchangeable depending on what I actually enjoy as I'm playing. But I think this area is probably where I want to go and looks great. I don't think I want to path through here because I don't really care about either of these 2 nodes. So the life regen while moving would be funny with the rampage skill. I do like this. We want big area. We want big area damage. Endurance charges are really huge. Also, some of these small nodes give you extra armor when you consume endurance charges, which we will probably have to do some of the totem stuff to do that. But I don't think I care about the totem nodes themselves for the most part. Like the damage ones. I just want the one totem that makes the giga ground and stuff cooler. Forgot what it's called already. I'm not a totem player or a slam player. And I can't see the totem on here. Marshall, what's the totem I'm thinking of? Is it not a new thing? Which totem? The one that triggers jagged ground and also the fissures that Ziggy D was using in his video. You can call it ancestral totem. Shockwave totem. That's already in the base game, I imagine, or already in the game. Yes. So I'll probably use this. Because I don't care about the damage and stuff of it. All I care about is this part of it, which is great. Thank you. So is there anything in there that I would want for totems that isn't necessarily about the totem damage, but just about the totem being cool? I'm pretty sure you can cast totems in bear form, right? Yeah, that's not bad, I guess. A little bit extra generation for your while you have totems and whatnot. We'll see. You can cast Shockwave Totem in the shape form, but others no. That's fine. I only want Shockwave Totem, so that works out for me. Okay. I'm happy with this tree then. Right, spin the Bear Tava. Hopefully this fire spell on hit I think will be really cool. I assume Volcano's gonna work the way we want to, but if it doesn't, I mean, even casting flammability on hit's kind of cool, right? If you're doing like a fire based build, the free curse on hit. Like, flammability doesn't exist anymore. It's elemental weakness now, right? It's the only one that exists. Flammability's not here anymore. Still the same thing though. Can I firestorm on hit? Okay. If it doesn't work with the volcano, I think it will. But if it doesn't, I think Living Bomb's an interesting one. Seed duration is 15 seconds. This is huge though, so that's kind of annoying. But if you put it on someone that you kill instantly, it's kind of cool, whatever, right? Dead Dead's also interesting. Melee weaknesses is just like a benefit of damage, unless you're doing like the fire damage 3, whatever crap. Firestorm would be cool. So there's like a couple options to test out. If the volcano doesn't work out well. Or volcano will work out well though. Good. That one is going to be. We already saved it. Okay. What else is on the list that I care to look at? We can't do this one. I'm just going to have to be maybe after stream tonight, cooking, because I can't. You know, I'll put right here Pathfinder. Because Marshall had a good idea with the Pathfinder thing as well. I think that could be cool depending on once we see the tree and how it looks. We already did this. Wolf Infernalist. Not gonna have it. I'm not gonna play minion build right now. Not like a dedicated minion build. Reverend Knight build. Probably not gonna happen either. I think we're down to these three. We're gonna be starting probably one of these three, unless, like I said, they release a shit ton of information tonight, and then like things go well. But yeah, I don't know what else I would want to cook. I think these are my favorite picks so far. I'll be honest. I don't really want to make a spellcaster, which is weird for me because in POE1, I traditionally play only spellcasters. Whereas in POE2, I've been playing only attack damage based characters. Really, I dabbled a little bit in Chronomancer last league, but I was like, I don't want to play through campaign again, and I stopped doing that. Went back to my Witch Hunter. So kind of cool. I think they released info earlier today. Has they dropped more news? Yeah, I think they're gonna drop more news. We're kind of just like putting our dick in our hands until we get more news. Like I said, I don't want to go super intricate, like because I'm not gonna for POE2. I don't have enough experience in it yet, and two, there's just so much like fluctuation and unknown stuff because the game's still in beta and being actively like transitioned. Like they're adding shit constantly, kind of thing. So I don't want to push out like, hey, here's a build guide. I'm going to do the same thing I did POE2 last week, which is on day one, I'll launch like a build diary of like what I did and like how it went and like what I thought and blah blah blah, and I'll do like the diary updates kind of thing for POE2. I think I can't necessarily do build guides, even though that probably would generate, more people coming here more frequently. I need to get in Art chambers, yeah. Me when I'm in her chambers. But yeah, so we're probably not going to do a build guide. At best, maybe we'll launch something tomorrow morning once we decide what our build that we're going to be is. Maybe before the stream tomorrow, I'll push out a thing, be like, hey, this is my current plan. And that's what it'll be. So it'll either be currently Smith of Bertava or the Werewolf Hunter tactician I build. Unless Oracle shows up and it's really, really cool. And they show us all the tree stuff and it all looks really sweet. Other than that, the plant stuff looks a little too unknown for me to go into plant stuff right now. Right, I think these two are very safe picks. And I think going like just bear or whatever form in the druid class is probably a safe pick, just because it's literally designed for that. But I think Oracle's a little bit too unknown to really build around right now. But I do like the idea of the Pathfinder moving over to like the warrior or the sorcerer area. That's pretty cool. To play plants a little bit better. We'll see how all that goes. But I think for those who are here for the PoE content, this is probably going to be it for PoE content. I know it's a very, very short stream for it, but like there's not a lot of stuff currently available for me to really cook with. We learned a few new things today from like watching a couple of different videos, but I'm pretty comfortable with these two things, and we'll kind of see what develops. I'll be posting in the Discord for more updates in it and all that kind of stuff. I'm trying to decide if I want to just end the stream fully here or transition back into variety for a little bit. I don't think anyone really watches the variety, so I might just end the stream, to be honest. And we can raid like Fishy or something like that. So maybe we'll do that. Wait, Fishy's not even streaming anymore. That son of a bitch. Yeah, we're in the stream. Marshall, I appreciate it. I'll be talking to you in the Discord because Marshall talks in there constantly. If anyone else wants to join the Discord where we're going to talk about like the builds and stuff that we want to do, feel free to do !point Discord. That'll get you to the Discord if you're not already in it, where we'll talk about more stuff. Beyond, the closest I got for a single button build is probably the Smith Katava thing, because you get spell on hit kind of thing, so it might help out a little bit. We'll see. Smug, appreciate you, bud. I'm assuming you're going to bed soon. Hopefully you can share your experience on what you pick tomorrow with me, so I can know kind of how you're feeling about POE2. I know you were like going in a little bit blind, so hopefully you learned a couple things today that looked like pretty cool. But Oracle spell total build pass. But yeah, that'll be it for today's stream. It's like it's gonna be a little bit shorter just because we don't have a lot of information, and I don't want to do variety stream because no one really wants to watch it, so I'd rather just go do whatever. But tomorrow is League launch. Tomorrow will be here an hour before League launch. When does League launch actually happen? What time is it? Does anyone know? Why is this in like Russian? What is happening? All right. Moving on. 22 hours and 9 minutes. So that would put us at like 1 o'clock. Because it's like almost 3 o'clock now. So like 1 o'clock my time is when it starts. So I'll start my usual time then. Just start at noon. And then we'll kind of talk about builds and stuff like that. And all that kind of stuff. And hopefully I'll have a video up before then to talk about what I plan on doing. But yeah, for me, for today, that'll be it. Thank you guys for hanging out today. I know it was a little bit shorter. Appreciate you guys showing up anyway. We're going to raid Scrimps, who's currently playing POE1. But that's what we're going to do. Hopefully you guys hang out with them or, whatever. I'll talk to you in Discord. And hopefully I catch you guys on League Launch tomorrow. Bye, chat. Goodbye. Thank you, Marshall, for pressing the Discord button for me. Goodbye. Teddy, thanks. Goodbye, chat. Goodbye. All right, so y'all over.